In today's video, we're talking about the Yuma County Justice Court. The Yuma County Justice Court is a misdemeanor court in Yuma County, in Arizona. We see a lot of people charged with crimes out of this particular court, so today we're going to tell you a little bit more about the court's jurisdiction. We'll tell you about the prosecutors who are in charge of prosecuting crimes here. We'll tell you a little bit more about the judge himself, Judge Gregory Stewart. So let's dive into it. When we're talking about the court's jurisdiction, we're talking about the geographic area, the land over which this court has authority. What area of land is within the court's jurisdiction? The reason why this is important is because if you are charged with a crime and you're cited into the Yuma County Justice Court, but the actual activity occurred outside of the court's jurisdiction, then your case is not eligible to be heard by this court. It's ripe for a dismissal. Now, it needs to be within that court's jurisdiction, so it needs to be within that land, and it's important that we know what that land looks like. And really, the Yuma County jurisdiction covers a large part of the northwestern portion of Yuma County, right as it kind of borders California. It looks like this. You can see it's highlighted there in yellow. And so it's a little bit more kind of rectangular. Below it, you have the Welton jurisdiction, and then below that, you have the southern South County Justice Court jurisdiction. And there's several freeways that run through Yuma County. Predominantly what we see happen here is that there's a lot of DPS officers, Department of Public Safety officers, and the Yuma County Sheriff's officers who are responsible for patrolling the area. So predominantly we see three types of crimes. One, we see criminal speeding. Two, we see reckless driving. And then three, we see commercial driver's license, so CDL trucking violations. We also see a number of DUIs, other crimes like driving on a suspended license, sometimes aggressive driving. But as people are traveling through, passing through the Yuma County Justice Court, they're going from Phoenix, most oftentimes, over to San Diego, or predominantly what we see, and they'll get going a little bit fast as they're passing through. DPS will notice that, and then they'll stop them, and they patrol very heavily for traffic-related offenses. So if you're charged with a traffic-related offense, what happens next? It goes over to the Yuma County Attorney's Office. The Yuma County Attorney's Office is a bigger prosecuting agency. It's not like a small-town prosecutor's office, which means they operate on a policy basis. Practically, how that works out for people is many people will go into court and they'll think that they can just talk to a prosecutor, and because it's their first offense or they've never been in trouble before, that they should be able to have a friendly conversation and get their charge dismissed. Because it's a bigger agency and because they're operating based on different policies, they just don't have the authority or the discretion to do that. In other words, what they'll do is they'll look at your charge, they'll say, okay, you've been charged with a DUI, and they will look at their chart and they'll look at what the policy says, and they'll say, based upon your blood alcohol content, based upon your background, you fall within this purview here in this little section, and so this is what your plea deal is. So that's why it's important you bring a defense attorney on board. What we do is we find where there are gaps or holes in their case. We get them to deviate from that policy and give us a better deal. Drop charges, dismiss the case, or we can set it for trial if that needs to be the other alternative action. Now, there is also judge. Of course, if you're talking about a court, you need to talk about the judge, Judge Gregory Stewart. So this judge is somebody who is not an attorney in Arizona, not a licensed lawyer. Doesn't mean he's a good judge or a bad judge, just means he didn't go to law school or pass the bar exam or become licensed like we did. He, like myself or like the prosecutor did, he just ran for office and got elected. He did attend ASU, received a bachelor's degree in social and behavioral sciences. From his bio, he says that he spent 22 years in the criminal justice field, both at the county, state, and the federal levels, working in the adults and the juvenile system, was a probation services supervisor in Yuma County for the Yuma County Adult Probation Services Probation Department for 16 years, served as a drug court coordinator, managed a day reporting center, supervised a specialized sex offender and investigations unit. So somebody with a lot of experience in law enforcement. Now, he was then appointed Justice of the Peace in January 4th, 2010. So he's been on the bench for a very long time. He is somebody with a lot of experience, as I said, in law enforcement. Does that mean that he's going to be biased one way or the other? Many people get a little bit nervous about that because they say, okay, this judge has been working with law enforcement for the better part of a couple decades. Does that mean that he's automatically biased to be that way? In our experience, we haven't found that. We just haven't found any really concrete examples of overly biased rulings or judicial behavior in this particular court. Just haven't seen it. I have other videos where I talk about other judges, and when we see it, we say it. We tell you in full transparency what we think and whether a judge leans one way or the other. And in this case, we don't see that at all. We just see this judge being pretty straight down the road, works with us in terms of managing our cases and working towards a resolution, not overly burdensome in their rulings or their requirements as it relates to our office or the people that we represent. So not a bad place to be. If you have unfortunately been charged with a crime out of the Yuma County Justice Court, you or a loved one, give our office a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll review exactly what happened, make sure you understand how it will work out of Yuma County, and most importantly, make sure you have a plan to move forward so that this stuff does not follow you around. So give us a call. Free case evaluations, literally nothing to lose. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and thanks for watching.